What's going on, Star Wars fans? It's Prestige back with another Star Wars video. Now, one of the most iconic duels in all of Star Wars was the first one, Obi-Wan vs. Vader on the first Death Star, where Obi-Wan purposely lost, becoming a Force ghost. But what would happen if Obi-Wan ended up surviving his battle with Vader? And how much would this change in the Star Wars universe? If you're enjoying the Star Wars content, make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss a video. Without further ado, let's get into the story. As Han, Luke, Leia, and Chewbacca made it to the hangar room where the Millennium Falcon was being held, it was surrounded by stormtroopers. "Do you plan on getting through that?" Leia asked. As the stormtroopers walked away from the ship for a second. "Now's our chance," Han said. "Go!" As the four of them ran to the Falcon, as R2 and C-3PO joined them. Luke stopped as he saw what the troopers were looking at, as Vader and Obi-Wan were locked into a lightsaber duel, where Obi-Wan saw Luke and tilted his head, signaling for Luke to get on the Falcon. As Obi-Wan used all of his Force powers he could muster, pushed Vader back and used Force speed to jump onto the Falcon as it was taking off. For the remainder of Episode 4 would be pretty much the same, where Luke would destroy the Death Star, but instead of talking to Luke through the Force, Obi-Wan would talk to him through a communicator. Where after the battle, Obi-Wan would tell Luke that they need to head to the Dagobah system to see an old friend. As Han would drop Luke and Obi-Wan off to Dagobah, where Luke would skip all side missions with the rebels and focus on his Jedi training. Obi-Wan and Luke would land on the planet. Something seemed very familiar to Luke, but he just couldn't put his finger on it. As they would find a little hut in the middle of the swamp, where here, Obi-Wan said, they would walk inside to see a little green creature cooking as he turned around to greet them. Obi-Wan and Yoda would share their adventures during the Clone Wars. When finally, Yoda would walk up to Luke. "Become a Jedi Knight. Why must you?" he asked Luke. "Because of my father, I guess," Luke would respond. "A powerful Jedi he was," Yoda would say. "Powerful indeed." As Yoda would look back at Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan would nod, as both masters knew this boy could be their last hope. Where Luke would spend the next 3 years training with Obi-Wan and Yoda, where he would learn Yoda's Form 4 Ataru and Obi-Wan's famous Form 3 Sorsu, leading us up to the point in The Empire Strikes Back, where Han Solo was carbon freezed. So one of Vader's admirals would walk up to him and say that there were no signs of any ships entering the atmosphere. "Why isn't he coming? I had the perfect trap," Vader thought. Vader was growing restless. Even thinking about Luke not showing up made him angry. As he walked up to Leia and Chewbacca, he ordered them to go into the interrogation room. But Luke was not coming to him, and he would come to Luke. As Vader would probe their minds to find out Luke was on Dagobah, Vader would take a ship and set a course for the planet, alone. Lando would free Leia and Chewbacca and attempt to save Han, where they would end up being unsuccessful. Where the group would take back the Falcon and leave Cloud City. "Where to?" Lando asked. "The Dagobah system," Leia responded. "I have a bad feeling Luke's in trouble." Back on Dagobah, Luke would be worried sick about his friends, as he had a vision that they were in trouble. He would try to communicate with Han, but he got no answer. As Luke would feel something coming towards the planet, as he would run to Yoda and Obi-Wan. "Vader," Master Yoda said. "On his way, Vader is." "How did he find us here?" Luke asked. "That doesn't matter now. We need to be prepared to fight," Obi-Wan would say, as the three would wait outside the hut for Vader's arrival. Vader would land on the planet. He would find his way to Yoda's hut and ignite his lightsaber. "Your destiny lies with me, Skywalker," Vader would say. "What have you done with my friends?" Luke would ask. "They're alive. That's all that matters. They'll be coming with me now," Vader responded. "I don't think so, Darth," Obi-Wan responded as Obi-Wan and Luke ignited their lightsabers and charged at Vader. As Yoda would use the Force to throw rocks and trees at Vader to try to slow him down. However, Yoda was not nearly the same fighter he once was. What a nuisance. As Vader finally had enough and force pushed Yoda against a rock, knocking him out. As Luke and Obi-Wan would continue to fight Vader, who would push back on one of Obi-Wan's strikes, sending him flying. "Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father," Vader would say to Luke. "He told me you killed him," Luke responded. "No, I am your father." Luke stopped in his tracks, stunned, turned back to Obi-Wan. "Why didn't you tell me?" "The moment your father turned to the dark side, he ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader. At that point, the good man who was your father was gone," Obi-Wan responded. "No," Luke said. "My father is still in there. Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him," Vader would respond. As Luke would summon the Force to grab Obi-Wan's lightsaber. "You haven't driven out my father completely yet. He's still in there. I can feel him," Luke said. "Join me, son, and we can rule the galaxy and overthrow the Emperor," Vader would say. Never, Luke responded, as he charged at Vader. Luke's speed and skill were very impressive, but Vader was not going to lose, as he force-pushed Luke, causing him to fall down and drop both his lightsabers. You will not be turned, you will be destroyed, Vader said, as Luke would get up and say, You won't destroy me. As Vader raised his lightsaber for a killing blow, he stopped. You'll be coming with me, Luke. As Vader cuffed him and forced him aboard Vader's ship, and he would set course for the Emperor. Just then, the Millennium Falcon would land as Leia jumped out to help Obi-Wan up. Where's Luke? Leia asked. With Vader, Obi-Wan responded. We have to go after them, Leia said, as she and Lando helped Obi-Wan and Yoda aboard the ship, and they followed Vader's ship to Coruscant. As Vader and Luke landed, they went up to the top floor where the Emperor's chamber was. Leia and the gang also landed, but were met by forces of royal guards and stormtroopers, which they would have to fight through. As Palpatine would try to turn Luke to the dark side, showing him a video of the battle outside that was taking place. You have the power to save your friends. Strike me down, and you'll be able to save them, Palpatine said. You won't turn me like you turned my father, Luke responded. Palpatine was growing angry. This boy's stubbornness is getting old, he thought. Finally, Palpatine had enough. He would unleash waves of Force lightning onto Luke, as Luke would plead for his father to help him. As Palpatine was in such a rage, he would not sense Vader reaching for his lightsaber. As Palpatine would finally look down to see a red lightsaber through his chest, killing him. Just as Leia and the rest of the gang charged into the throne room. As Leia and Chewie aimed their guns at Vader, Luke jumped in front of his father. No, stop, he said. As they would see that the Emperor was dead, Luke would explain what happened, as Obi-Wan and Yoda would be in shock. As they would flee the planet with Vader and would go save Han from Jabba. However, Luke would not return to the Rebel base, as if they came back with Vader, it would make a pretty big scene. Luke, Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Vader would leave to create a new Jedi Academy, one which would learn both about the dark and the light sides of the Force. Where eventually, the young Ben Solo would enter the Academy. Vader would get a new suit that would cause him less pain than his original one. At night, Anakin would look at the stars, thinking about Padme, but he had his son in his life, who was his last connection to her. Things in the galaxy finally seemed to quiet down, until one day, a new power will rise. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I had a good time writing it, and I felt like there was a lot of suspense and not knowing what direction the story is going to take, which, I was really into it when I was writing it, but I would say I'm pretty happy on how it ended. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. On the right is a playlist of my other Star Wars what ifs if you kind of want more of this stuff. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.